It all comes down to this.
I ran a great campaign. I think it was maybe the best of the three.
Former President Donald Trump.
It is time for a new generation of leadership in America.
Vice President Kamala Harris closing out their 2024 campaign.
It's really a pleasure to be able to vote for my first time, and it's for a black woman.
Millions of voters in Alabama and across the nation turning out to make their voice heard.
And I think he's a real candidate that is behind hardworking Americans and blue-collar workers.
But Election Day 2024 wasn't without its ups and downs.
This year has been the worst time for us as a country to be voting.
Now the question is, when will we know who the next president of the United States is?
It is great to have you with us for WAAY 31 News at 10. I'm Nikel Williams. Tonight, we are tracking the 2024 election from across North Alabama. Weekend anchor Rob Sneed is following the developments in the Madison County Commission race, while Jim Abbott is tracking the votes being counted at the Madison County Board of Elections for us tonight. But first, Tori Dunnan walks us through an interactive map of how Alabama voted this evening. Tori.
Nikel, we're starting to get a look at the numbers here in the state of Alabama, which, by the way, as you can see here, has gone to former President Donald Trump. It has already been called. Now, if you take a look, 60.8% of the precincts have come in so far. So that's giving us our numbers right now, with Trump at 68%. Vice President Kamala Harris at 30.8%. We want to take a look and compare this to 2020 to see how the numbers fell then. You can see at that point in 2020, Trump was at 62.2% and President Joe Biden at 36.7%. So kind of a similar shakeout right now. Obviously, we're still waiting for more precincts to get an exact number. But if we go in a little bit and we take a look here at Madison County for the numbers as well. I'll take that away so it's a cleaner look for you. You see Trump at 54.6%, Kamala Harris at 43.8%. 90% of the precincts in Madison County have come in. So we are getting a look at that. We'll continue to watch Alabama, the state, as far as some of these counties that haven't been called as well. You can see here in gray. But for the most part, we have a broad look of the state of Alabama. Nikel?
All right, Tori, thank you for that breakdown. We'll check back in with you in just a moment. I want to turn your attention now to the race impacting North Alabama's largest county, the Madison County Commission chairman seat. WAAY 31 weekend anchor Rob Sneed joins us live now from a watch party that's hosted by the Republican Women of Madison. Rob, it looks like incumbent Mac McCutcheon is in the lead right now.
Yeah, he certainly is, but right now it's still too early to call. And I'm told organizers tonight told me that he was actually supposed to make it here tonight, but unfortunately he had other plans. But again, as you mentioned, Nikel, this race is still going. It is too close to call. You can see people out here at one of many Republican watch parties here in North Alabama as they are watching very closely, not only for that race, but also the presidential race. Governor Kay Ivey appointed Mac McCutcheon as Madison County Commission chairman in January 2023. This happened after Chairman Dale Strong was elected to U.S. House of Representatives. McCutcheon had served as Speaker of the Alabama House of Representatives. Now, as I mentioned before, the spokesperson for the Republican Women of Madison told me he was supposed to be here tonight, but plans changed, and the Madison County Commission chairman has many responsibilities, including leading commission meetings and overseeing decision making, implement policies and resolutions passed by the commission, manage the county budget, and oversee county infrastructure, including roads and public facilities. Now, that's, again, several of many things that this position is supposed to do. Again, McCutcheon was not able to make it here tonight. Of course, we will reach out to not only McCutcheon, but the other candidates involved in this race. There is Guy Sotomayor III, and there's also Alan Barksdale. He's a Libertarian. Sotomayor, a Democrat. Again, too early to tell. We will stay on top of this. We will bring you the latest information as we get it. For now, I'm reporting live. Rob Sneed, WAAY 31 News.
All right, we saw a lot of signs out in the community saying Mac is back. We will see if that holds up tonight. Rob, thanks for that report. Well, a lot of people came out to exercise their right to vote in Madison County today. Earlier, it looked like the number of voters might actually surpass what we saw during the last presidential election. WAAY 31 reporter Jim Abbott joins us live now to give us a better idea of how the numbers looked as polls closed tonight. Hey, Jim.
Hi, Nicole. Yeah, we're getting really close to getting those final numbers here down at the Madison County Courthouse. Last time I checked over here, out of the 80 precincts that were reporting, there's only 4 more still to count, and that certainly is good news. It's been very quiet here, and that's kind of a good thing. We saw the first precinct captain come in at about 7:35 tonight after the polls closing at 7, and then a steady stream of the ballots coming in after that. As far as things went during the daytime, we ran into a problem that they were seeing in other counties, really not only in our area but around the state, and that's the humidity causing some of the machines to jam. But other than that, as you kind of alluded to there was only one problem, and a good problem to have, and that was the heavy turnout, especially this morning.
We had significant turnout countywide this morning. At approximately 11:30, we were at roughly 30% of registered voters in Madison County. Keep in mind, in the 2020 general election, we only had turnout of about 65%. So we saw roughly half of what we would have seen in our last presidential general election a half an hour before lunch, so within the first 4.5 hours of our day. So it overwhelmed polling locations in many places. We did see that turnout drop off a little bit late in the afternoon and into the evening.
And I know a lot of you probably ran into it. I ran into it myself. Very heavy turnout this morning at the Mark Russell Recreation Center. They were lining up at 5:30. By 6 o'clock, by 6 a.m., an hour before the polls opened, there were hundreds of people waiting outside. And it didn't really wane until, well after midday. There was still an hour-long wait in the afternoon. That is something that Judge Frank Barger said that he and his crew are going to get together in the next couple of weeks and find out, okay, what is it like at different precincts? Do they need to make some tweaks there before they take a look and see how things are later on? As he mentioned, it the turnout kind of waned a little bit, but he sees those numbers at least approaching where they were 4 years ago and perhaps surpassing it, again, as you alluded there, Nicole. And of course, we'll be here to bring it all to you. Live at the Madison County Courthouse with coverage you can count on. Jim Abbott, Way 31 News.
Certainly saw some lines at several polling sites across Madison County today. Jim, thank you. All right, now I want to show you how this year's voter turnout compares to the 2020 election. Numbers from the Secretary of State's office show Alabama cast more than 2.3 million ballots. That was about 62% of registered voters at the time. Madison County had voter turnout of almost 65%. Absentee ballots made up about 13% of the total ballots cast.